गुड मॉर्निंग। आई एम मदन सिंह, आपका दोस्त, और मैं आपके साथ बात करने वाला हूँ अबाउट द लेटेस्ट हैपनिंग्स इन अमेरिका। आप जानते हो अमेरिका में एक आदमी है जिसका नाम है जोहरन ममदानी, एंड उसने एक वोल्केनो की तरह इरप्शन किया है, एंड ही हैज़ नाउ बिकम, और रादर ही इज़ गोइंग टू बिकम द मेयर ऑफ न्यूयॉर्क। कुछ दिन पहले मैं ओबराय होटल की बार में बैठा था। आप जानते हो कि दैट इज़ वन ऑफ माई वेरी फेवरेट हॉन्ट्स, द बार ऑफ द ओबराय होटल। एंड somebody asked me a question during a discussion. He said, Captain, you've been making so many videos. What is your assessment of the victory of Mamdani as the mayor of New York? ये बहुत ही वैलिड क्वेश्चन है, बिकॉज ये जो इवेंट है इज़ मोर लाइक ए अर्थक्वेक इन अमेरिका देन एनीथिंग एल्स, एंड मोर सो बिकॉज Zohran Mamdani is a Muslim. He's a Shia Muslim. And it's a bit of a surprise that a Shia Muslim should have won election in the most important city in America. Now, America की जो city New York है, it's got a population of 85 lakhs. And it is one of the costliest cities in the world. That's number one. And number two, it is the center of trade and business as far as the world is concerned. And another very important point is that with the victory of Mamdani and the victory in London of the Muslim mayor, two of the most important cities in the world, that is New York and London, will now be having mayors who are basically Muslim. So ये एक surprising part है, and this thing has happened in America, जहाँ एक anti-Muslim feeling चलती है, there is no doubt about it, and that is the reason that in American population the Muslims just constitute 2% of the entire people. That means there are only about 2% of Muslims in America. और बहुत ही स्मॉल माइनॉरिटी है, बट दे आर वेरी असर्टिव एंड दे स्टिक टू देयर बिलीफ्स। और ममदानी की विक्ट्री जो है इज़ मोर व्हाट यू कैन से सरप्राइजिंग, बिकॉज डोनाल्ड ट्रंप एंड इलन मस्क ने एक मिशन बना लिया था टू डिफीट हिम। डोनाल्ड ट्रंप हैड बीन कॉलिंग हिम एवरीथिंग फ्रॉम अ जिहादिस्ट टू अ कम्युनिस्ट. And he had said that his victory in the New York election is going to be very disastrous, because all the funds are being controlled by the center, that is the federal government, and it will be very difficult for our good friend Mamdani to carry on with his promises. Now, a word about Mamdani is very interesting. एक्चुअली एक मल्टी रिलीजियस आदमी है, इन द सेंस दैट हिज मदर इज़ अ हिंदू, एंड शी इज़ द फेमस फिल्म प्रोड्यूसर मीरा नायर, हु हैज़ अ पंजाबी साउथ इंडियन बैकग्राउंड connection, and his father is a Gujarati Muslim. He is a Shia, and he had migrated from Gujarat to Uganda, where in Kampala Zohran was born. And after 7 years, he migrated along with his family to America and became a naturalized American citizen. So basically his roots are from Gujarat, and he has got both the genes of Hindus and Muslims in him. But despite this, I think he chose to become a Muslim because of the general concept that you follow your father's religion. So, whatever we can think about Mamdani, the very fact that he chose to become a Muslim and his mother allowed it is itself a slight fly in the ointment. Though he professes that he has a lot of faith for all religions, he has been making some very assertive comments. He's been talking about genocide in Gaza, and he says in case Benjamin Netanyahu were to come to New York, he will get him arrested. That is number one. Number two, he is anti-Modi and the RSS. He may have a valid reason for it, but in 2002, the riots which took place, he was nowhere in Gujarat at that time to know what. Yet he has followed a policy of being anti-Modi and anti-RSS. Well, I have nothing to say on that because one can have his likes and dislikes. I'm just bringing out the psyche of the man who is now going to be the mayor of New York. And he has become the mayor, and or rather is the mayor designate, because he followed very pragmatic policies. Unlike Donald Trump, who took up a rationalistic concept and decided that every policy will be through the trade and tariff, Mamdani has focused on the basic needs of the New Yorkers, and that is housing and cost of living. This is very important, and I think Indian leaders should take cognizance of what is happening in New York. This appealed to the masses, and he also had an outreach in the sense he even went to the oldest Hindu temple in New York and met the people there, and you can see from the video that was being lionized by everybody. And his campaign was Bollywood style, and that is a plus point in his favor. But then, as I've already pointed out to you, he was not born in America, so in that case he is not going to become the President of the United States ever. That is his big drawback. So he cannot hope to be the President of the United States, and that is final. But obviously he can have a big say in the Democratic Party in time to come. But we'll have to see how he features, because sometimes a shooting star goes up and then also fades away and falls. We'll have to see, because he's got a drawback, and that is he's a Shia Muslim. I think even the Muslims will not accept him as their leader because he is a Shia. And as the Shias constitute only 20% of the population, the chances are that he will probably just continue as a local leader in New York. That's a possibility. But he's 34 and we do not know how times will change. As far as Trump is concerned, I think he has fired his last bullet. And that is very bad for America, because he's trying to take America back to a medieval age, a medieval period. America was made of immigrants, but he's turned against immigration. Basically, why? Because if there were only white immigration, he would have probably accepted it. But he didn't accept that. And the only thing he didn't agree for immigration was because it was basically from the have-nots, the colored countries like India, South America. So that was something which was probably not acceptable to him. Let's say if there'd been all the immigrants had been from England, France, or Poland or something, he would have said, fine, wonderful. But he's a racist, and that is the problem with America, or with Donald Trump. And as far as Mamdani is concerned, I think we mustn't read too much into his victory. Yes, it is a victory, and a victory in New York is itself a very, very big thing. But it doesn't affect the American country. America is a very big country, actually, and New York is one small aspect of it. Of course, they got a economy of $2.3 trillion. You can well imagine the Indian economy is $4 trillion, and this single city has an economy of $2.3 trillion. So it's a very important thing, and if he was able to do something for America there. But the tasks for which he has been won are not easy. How is he going to generate housing? How is he going to generate more jobs? How is he going to make life more affordable? You can't do it by simplistic methods or communist methods wherein you say you rob the rich and distribute the money to the poor. That's not going to help him. He has to do something better than that. He should be aware that as far as the state of USSR was concerned, it collapsed because they tried to put communism into practice and it failed. So it's not going to work in New York. So maybe for some time there will be an euphoria and he will ride on that, but he'll have to deliver the goods. And with the federal government, I think, not going to release him funds the way he wants it, it's going to be a little tough time for Mamdani and his people like him. Gentlemen, what is the line of thought? What sort of man he is? My reading is that he is a Muslim. That's number one. A Shia Muslim. And I think he lives in a watertight compartment. He is reported to have picked up his wife from a dating site, but she's also Muslim. So the question is that basically what he was interested in is association with Muslims. So even the dating site, probably he preferred Muslims. Nothing wrong with it, but just shows his psyche that he would prefer Muslims to anybody else. And forming strong opinions about Modi, that's again his lookout. I have nothing against that. But it shows that he's got a mind which is closed. And it would have been better if he had not gone around making all those statements. And talking of genocide in Gaza is another thing which he should have avoided. What is genocide? Genocide is something which is done, the mass killings which were done by Adolf Hitler when he killed 6 million Jews. I think the Israelis have done nothing like that. And the Israelis only reacted once Hamas had carried out that dastardly attack and captured almost 250, 300 hostages. Now, in war, this is not something which is done, not in chivalry. And he didn't focus on that aspect and focused on the killing of the Arabs in Gaza. So, gentlemen, it's a very precarious situation as far as the world is concerned. But for America, it's upheaval. The victory of Mamdani is definitely a volcano erupting, and Americans must be wondering what the hell is going on. But the fact is, the Americans in the happiness factor are pretty low. And it's been made lower by men like Donald Trump, who have been wasting their time, doing politics. He's been more concerned about what's happening in Gaza, what's happening in Ukraine. He's been talking something else, doing something else. He wants peace in Ukraine. At the same time, he has supplied some weapons to Ukraine as well. And he's wanting to supply the weapons via the other countries, so long as they pay for them. So, gentlemen, I think Donald Trump is a man who's got a double face. And the American public has probably realized now, and that is why there are widespread demonstrations against him all over the world. More so in America. And he's talking of the G2, that he's thinking that perhaps he could have a partnership with China and rule the world. But that would be the most foolish thing he would ever do. Coming back to New York, I think we must congratulate Mamdani for his victory, no doubt about it. He's done very well. He's broken the American image. And I do not know what's going to happen in the future. Are the Americans going to accept a man who is a Muslim as their leader? They haven't accepted anybody so far like that. Barack Muhammad Obama was born a Muslim, but he converted to the Catholic faith, married a Catholic wife, though he's divorced her now. And that's the reason he was accepted by the American public. I don't know whether Mamdani will be able to match that man, because he would have to convert to Christianity to make himself acceptable to all Americans. As a Muslim, he can remain a local leader. The same thing happened with the mayor of London. He also has not been able to go out of London or become a national British leader. He remains the mayor of London, confined there. So that could be one aspect of his life, that he would remain confined in New York. And in any case, that would be a very powerful position. He can still enjoy his life, make a mark and go. But to come on the national stage I don't think there is any chance for him as it stands at the moment, because the thoughts in America are always anti-Muslim. I've been all over America. I haven't found any support for Muslims anywhere. And general feeling is that these people are bringing in Sharia, they're bringing in terrorism, and that's about all I hear about them. So Mamdani would be a shining beacon actually for the Muslims, that you can have a modern man with a modern wife and not talk of parochial things. I think he would be an example to the Muslim world, particularly a country like Pakistan, which discriminates so badly against the minorities, in particular against the Hindus. They are something they must watch very carefully. What is happening in New York? Probably the Pakistanis, are so well down the drain, they're going to difficult for them to get out of it. I would like to ask the Pakistanis, Mamdani could win an election in New York. Can they ever think of a Hindu winning an election in Pakistan? Pakistan is one of the most parochial countries in the world, totally obscure, and it's talking of so many things, and that is why it is facing an insurrection from the Taliban, and there is the fight on also the Baluch Liberation Army against them. Mamdani has done well, and I wish him the best of luck, as I've already said, but he has to do something better. And something better means he has to bring out fresh policies. And if he wants to come on the national stage, I think he'll have to tone down his Islamic image totally. He's already done it, but he has to forget about that, integrate more with the American values. And I wonder whether he's going to do that, whether he's going to integrate with the Americans and follow their values. His campaign has been a success, but he is like Kejriwal. You remember Kejriwal won the election in Delhi when there was a time out of the 70 seats, he won 67 of them. And only 3 seats were won, I think, by the BJP. He repeated his success 5 years later, but now he's in oblivion and he doesn't know what to do. He's got only one state left now, that's Punjab, and probably in the next election he's going to be wiped out there also. So it could be a case like Kejriwal, that is, he wins now and loses tomorrow. In that case, he will have to only himself to blame, because he has to come out of his Muslim mindset. That is one thing is there. I don't know whether he has a mindset about Muslims, but the general feeling I get is that he's a staunch Muslim. That is number one. Number two, he goes by stereotypes. That is, he keeps on criticizing Benjamin Netanyahu, talks of genocide, and keeps on criticizing Modi and the RSS. He says he doesn't like them. Well, personal likes and dislikes are part of the game, but it shows the facet of his character. At the same time, even in the dating sites, he picked up only a Muslim girl to be his date and married her. And I wonder whether any effect of Hinduism is on him. His mother was a Hindu. I don't know whether she was a practicing Hindu. I don't think she was. Otherwise, she wouldn't have gone and married a Muslim. Normally, when you marry a Muslim, you have to convert to Islam. So we don't know whether she did it, and that is something which people can think over. At the same time, gentlemen, definitely she's a very creative person, and that creativeness has come into Mamdani, and he's basking in the sunlight of his victory. It's a great victory indeed, and something which has shaken the world and shaken America, and it just shows that the American state itself is moth-eaten now. That is the crux of the issue which happens. And I wouldn't be surprised he could become a national leader also at some stage. If that happens, that perhaps would be the end of the American dream. the old dream of Abraham Lincoln and others. Because America is now very, very divided. It's a divided nation. And the Americans are wondering, what are they going to do next? I hope, gentlemen, you like my video. Please share it with your friends and subscribe to my channel. Do comment. I look forward to comments and I reply to each and every comment which comes. I hope you understanding my line of thought. There has been a sort of revolution in America with Mamdani coming into power, but it's not going to help much. America is a moth-eaten state, and perhaps this could be one nail in the coffin of the American superpowerdom. I do not know where America is going to head now further. I will say that things can only get worse. And with Donald Trump in power, I think he's divided American society to a great extent indeed. And we'll have to watch and see how things pan out further. The Republican Party, I think, is at the end of the road. Thanks to Donald Trump, the Democrats will come up, but they're no better in the long run. And Mamdani could have a big say there in due course of time. But I will again say that he is not going to go beyond New York City. Just as the mayor of London has been confined to London, he's going to remain confined to New York, because there's no chance that he's going to become a national leader. It doesn't appear likely to me, of course, but surprises are already in store. We'll have to see what happens in due course. I will now say, gentlemen, goodbye. I hope you like my video. Share it with your friends and come back again. And I will close now. Before I go further, I will summarize what I have said. I have said Mamdani's coming is a great thing or bad thing is going to come out in the future. Goodbye, friends.